Please welcome Illinois State University's Vice President and Provost, Dr. Sherry Noring-Everts.
Thank you, Jay. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on a special day when we say farewell, but not goodbye, to Illinois State University's 17th President, Dr. Al Bowman. I'd like to introduce at this point my colleagues who are also sponsoring this event. My colleague Dan Lizelle, Vice President of Finance and Planning. Aaron Monet, Vice President of University Advancement. And Larry Dietz, Vice President of Student Affairs. And we are honored to sponsor today's event. I want to start by saying thank you to Kim Reisinger and Angelo Favis for providing our musical backdrop today. And we are also, yes, we could applaud. We're also grateful to Campus Dining Services for preparing today's excellent refreshments. And finally, a big thank you to Lindsay Schlink of our University Marketing and Communications staff for producing today's amazing slideshow tribute to Al and Linda Bowman. That was really impressive. Very impressive. You're not so sure. Did anyone notice Linda Bowman has never had a bad hair day? It's true. Now, a short trip back in time. The year was 1978. Illinois Bell Company introduced the first ever cellular mobile phone system. Space Invaders launched a nationwide craze for computer video games. I think I remember that one. And the first computer bulletin board system, BBS, was created. Kobe Bryant was born. The most popular television show was Happy Days. And the #1 songs were Night Fever and Stayin' Alive, both by the Bee Gees. Aaron, the Bee Gees were a musical group a long time ago. Also Stayin' Alive and discoing down the corridors of Fairchild Hall was a first-year speech pathology instructor on a 1-year temporary contract, Al Bowman. Actually, it is very difficult to imagine Al doing the disco. I just threw that in, or rather Jay Groves threw that in. But like all first-year teachers that year, he was just starting out, just trying to find his way. And find his way he did. From instructor, to professor, to department chair, to provost, to president, all in 25 years. Though I'm sure each year brought special memories for Dr. Bowman, I am positive these last 10 years as president of Illinois State have been the most special for him, just as I know they were the most important for Illinois State University. Under his leadership, Illinois State's accomplishments reached levels that most of us could never have imagined. Historic highs for graduation and retention rates, record success for student achievement, civic engagement national rankings, and prominence for academic programs. Faculty production and staff support, all amazing. In the last decade, Illinois State also set new standards for fundraising and grant activity. We also renovated some of our oldest buildings and built new ones. In just the last 2 years, a new student fitness center, our first public-private student residence facility, a makeover for Illinois State's front door, Hancock Stadium, and, just over 2 months ago, the announcement from Governor Quinn that we would indeed get the needed support to reconstruct our fine arts complex. President Bowman spoke loudly and often of these success stories, but he never took credit for himself. Instead, he reflected the glory, all of it, to Illinois State's faculty and staff in a true spirit of shared leadership. I would like to pause here to hear words from 2 of our shared governance leaders. First, please welcome the chairperson of Illinois State's Academic Senate, Dr. Dan Holland.
those off. I don't want to forget those. All right. It is my pleasure to represent the faculty this afternoon, and it is difficult to express what President Bowman has meant to the faculty at ISU. I first met Al when our children were in first grade together at Metcalf. I did not know him very well at the time, but I was always impressed by that sharp-dressed man and figured that he would go far. I never dreamed at the time that he would become perhaps the most beloved and respected president in the history of the university. I believe that a large part of his success is his intimate understanding of what it means to be a faculty member. When the time got tough, he not only said the right things, and by the right things I mean that faculty of a university are their most important asset. No. He put up the resources to prove it by assembling a first-rate team of administrators and engaging in meaningful strategic planning. When other schools were experiencing furloughs and flat salaries, he was usually able to budget for at least a small raise each year. The faculty has also greatly appreciated the transparency in his administration and his commitment to shared governance. Now, before presenting the gift from the faculty, I would just want to mention one other item. In 2004, a student came to me with the crazy idea of starting a solar car at Illinois State University. After several weeks of his pestering and a good deal of research on his part, the student came up with what I consider to be a feasible plan. We presented the idea to President Bowman, and to my surprise, he was impressed enough to give us the funds to get started. I will say that there have been times since then that I have cursed him for this. But he has continued to be our biggest supporter as we have gone from a team that barely qualified to a second-place finisher in one of our most recent races. In thanks for his support, the team unanimously voted to change the car number to number 17 in honor of the 17th president. Okay. It is now my pleasure to present you and Linda this golf basket. Okay. My guess is that now that you are no longer president, everybody else's golf game will suddenly improve.
Yes, I'm sure.
And hopefully this will come in handy. Use it in good health, and we look forward to greeting you back in the faculty ranks in the fall. Thank you for a fabulous 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And now, please welcome to the podium graduate student and member of the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University, Mr. Aaron Von Qualen.
I'd like to start by thanking everyone for coming out today to celebrate the legacy, leadership, and success of our 17th president, Dr. Al Bowman, and his wife, and our beloved First Lady, Linda Bowman. To the outsiders of our community, Dr. Bowman's legacy will mean the increased ACT scores, our improved retention rates, upgrades to our facilities, and the value that has been added to the Illinois State University degree. All things that we have enjoyed in the past 10 years of Dr. Bowman's work. For those of us who are a part of the community, we all know that Dr. Bowman's humble and collegial leadership has not only improved this institution's name in the last 10 years, but has been the definition of what it means to be a true Redbird. I think I speak for the students, faculty, and staff in saying that the passion Dr. Bowman has for this place is contagious, and he has inspired all of us to buy into the unique culture we celebrate here at ISU. The culture that allows students to participate in shared governance, a culture that is humble, and a culture that shows every member of our community opportunity, loyalty, and respect. Dr. Bowman has led by example and is a great role model for every one of us. I remember my freshman year, my first experience playing with a Big Red marching machine While walking through the tailgates and playing at the president's tent, I was amazed at how excited and enthused everyone looked to be at an ISU football game on that Saturday afternoon. This was kind of a shock for me because prior to coming to this campus, all I knew was the institution 45 minutes down 74 because I grew up in Champaign. The passion that people have for this institution, the individualized attention, and the big school feel, or the big school with the small school feel mentality are just a few reasons why we all believe that we're better than that institution down the road. I bring this up today because I think the ISU culture is one that once you have a taste of it, you can't help but come back for more. In the past 10 years, we have become an institution that is very competitive with the flagship down the road, and we have separated ourselves from the directional schools in the state. I don't believe that this culture and success that we have celebrated would have taken place without the leadership of Dr. Bowman. The next memory I have came during the fall semester family weekend. I was sitting in the bleachers at Hancock Stadium with my family, enjoying the Redbirds beat up on Eastern Illinois. And my little sister looks at me, and she's a junior in high school, and she says, "Hey, that guy over there looks like he could be president in the movie." So I laughed out loud, and I said, "Well, that's because he's our president in real life, and he's a darn good one." Like I said earlier, Dr. Bowman is such a great role model for everyone and he encounters and inside the community and outside. I believe Dr. Bowman has always been a favorite among students, even when he was a faculty member. I talked with my aunt, and she reminisced when she was in Intro to Human Verbal Development with Dr. Bowman when she was an undergraduate student. And she told me everyone in the class loved Dr. Bowman because he was clear about expectations, fair, and was passionate about the content of the course and about teaching and learning. Another thing she shared that I'm sure helped him become a favorite of the students was that he would let them out early because it was a night class in order to catch the TV show Moonlighting.
I didn't hear it.
Oh. I guess that's a sign we need to let out early today. I don't know if Hulu has reruns, though, of Moonlighting. The final memory I would like to share is one that came in December, 5 days after President Bowman announced his retirement. On Friday, December 7th, Dr. Bowman looked out of his office window to find Mrs. Bowman and over 1,000 Redbirds who rallied together and were chanting his name while the marching band played to surprise him, show support, and thank him for his leadership. That day is a day that I know everyone who witnessed will remember forever, and it is a true testament to the love that we all have for President and Mrs. Bowman. I want to thank the Bowmans one last time for their leadership and their commitment to ISU. There have been very few university events, registered student organization, end-of-the-year celebrations, and sporting events that they have missed over the years. And I know all of us are thankful that they're going to continue living in our community and remain invested in Illinois State University for many years to come. Thank you, and here's to another 35 years. I also have a gift from the students. It's an Illinois State University ornament.
Thank you, Aaron. Both Dan and Aaron, like the rest of us, know the public Al Bowman. But we wanted a little glimpse behind the scenes of the not-so-public Al Bowman. Yeah, this is the part of the ceremony that I'm a little nervous about. But his chief of staff, Jay Groves, is probably the person who has worked most closely with President Bowman over these past 10 years. And he offers what he calls Bowmanisms. Now, boss, remember Jay wrote these. I had nothing to do with them.
I'm still president.
I know. Exactly, I know. So if you don't like any of them, I'll cut this part. Whenever Dr. Bowman sees you in the morning, he always says, "Top of the day." Jay never figured out exactly what that meant, so he just smiled and kept his mouth shut. Whenever something good happens, Dr. Bowman says, "That's huge." I added the hand signals. Is that okay, boss? Okay. Whenever something really good happens, Dr. Bowman swings an imaginary baseball bat and says, "Another Redbird first down." Wanting to keep his job, Jay never commented on the obvious mixed metaphors, nor have any of the vice presidents ever commented on that mixed. We love it. We love it. Number 4, once, when traveling in Thailand for an academic exchange, President Bowman called Jay back in the States. Jay didn't know what time it was in Thailand, but his alarm clock told him it was 3:15 a.m. in Bloomington. Was Dr. Bowman calling with an emergency? Nope. He just wanted Jay to hear the good news that within a half mile of his hotel, there were 6 Starbucks coffee shops. It's true, isn't it? Yes. One final travel story. While traveling in Poland, Jay and several ISU representatives accompanied Al and First Lady Linda on a tour of a centuries-old castle. As the group marveled at the art and architecture, Al turned to Linda and remarked in utter astonishment, "Linda, these castle walls are 6 feet thick, and I'm still getting 3 bars on my cell phone signal." That's true, isn't it? Yes. Also true. You okay? I still have a job? Okay. And yes, this day isn't just about President Al Bowman. It's also about First Lady Linda Bowman, who has joyfully juggled her own professional career while co-hosting thousands of university events, opening their home to the university community, and serving the greater community through a spectrum of service organizations. She even picked out the pictures for today's slideshow. So, on behalf of my fellow vice presidents and a grateful campus family, Al and Linda, please accept this gift along with our most heartfelt thank you. Finally, I just want to say, President and Mrs. Bowman, thank you. And for all you in attendance today, please continue to enjoy yourselves, and thank you all again for coming. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for being here, and I especially want to thank the Board of Trustees for having confidence in a candidate for president who was largely untested. My professional career had been mostly as a faculty member and 8 years as a department chair. I knew I could do the job. I'm not so sure that they were completely convinced, but they gave me the opportunity, and I knew I could be successful at it because of all the potential that this campus had. When my wife and I, Linda, were talking about what it would be like and what you would need to do to be successful as president, I said, well, I'm going to treat the campus like it's just a big department. And she sort of chuckled and said, there's no way. I mean, there's 20,000 students, there's 3,000 employees. It can't be like it was back in Fairchild Hall, where you knew everyone, where when there was a problem, people came and sought you out, and you had your tool belt on, and you opened doors and did all those other things that department chairs do. But I actually tried to bring that style of leadership to this job, where trying to be engaged with the campus, trying to show the campus that if there's a problem and you can't get it solved anywhere else, if you tell the president's office, we'll deal with it. And I think to a large degree that happened. I've had a range of emotions the last few months after making this announcement. And like most men, I only have two emotions. And it really is simpler that way. And I actually like that. So I don't want to go into therapy and have someone try to draw me out. I don't want to be drawn out anymore. I'm out as much as I want to be. My two emotions are I'm really happy and I'm really mad. There's nothing in the middle. Now, typically I'm not really angry, but occasionally that does happen. But through this process as president, I've added a third emotion, and that's pride. I have an incredible sense of pride in this institution and what it's done. In this 10-year period, to see this kind of progress made is really a case study in university transformation. No one has made this much progress in these 10 years. And it wasn't because I was president. I didn't teach the classes, write the grants, advise students, do all those other things that you have to do to improve as an institution. Those are the things that the campus did. I was just the face for it. But we did it together, and we did it against incredible headwinds. And that's why I know the best years are ahead. Because if we can make this much progress when Rod Blagojevich was governor, we can do anything. Now, 8 years. Thank you. Now, notice I didn't make a joke about Governor Pat Quinn because he's still governor. Rod Blagojevich, I don't have to worry about for another 13 years. And when he's out of jail, he'll be close to 80, so I still won't have to worry about him. Thank you so much for the outpouring of support. Linda and I have just been overwhelmed. And then finally, I'd like to thank Linda for being really the perfect university partner for me and the perfect bride. It's one of those jobs that you really can't do alone. But I will say this, I have for the last 10 years seen more of Jay Groves than my wife, and I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time with her. Thank you very, very much.